The application window for the 2023 Mandela Washington Fellowship has just opened, but for some weird reasons, it would only be open for 4 weeks instead of the normal 6 weeks. I don't know why that's the case, but that's sending a message. Last year, there are 70,000 applications that came through, but the fellowship only has a very little 700 slots to put fellows in. The competition this year is definitely going to be crazier. In the application form for the 2023 MWF, you'll be required to fill out 23 different sections. Hence, I encourage you to start filling your application early. I mean, right now. Part of the information they are going to require you to fill are things about your resume, your education, your professional experience, your personal statement, and blah, blah, blah. The most important section of all of the 23 sections are the personal statement, the 6 of them. You are going to have to respond to 2 long essays that are 250 words each and 4 short essays that are 150 words each. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you surefire strategies and time-tested approach on how to attack and respond to the personal statement of your MWF 2023 application. Go get a pen and paper right now and make sure you watch this video till the very end. My name is A to the M to the D to the double E Emdee Tiamiyu, and on this channel we have helped so many people tell their impact stories better, including a few dozens of new fellows who I have directly coached one-on-one. Let me tell you something. In MWF 2022, we had so many fellows selected from this channel. You can check out their success stories here. I've linked the video that we made to celebrate them, including their names, their countries, and what they do. And this could be your testimony as well. You are in the right place at the right time. This is your #1 YouTube channel where you find everything you're looking for regarding fellowships, scholarships, jabaships, and experiences that help you discover Africa abroad. You want to like this video so other people can find it. You want to also subscribe if you're new so you don't miss out on anything again. You should hit the notification bell so when we drop content like this one, you will not miss out. In case you're a returning subscriber and you've been here before, but you still keep watching, you still keep coming back, I love you so much. Welcome back. Meanwhile, this video is proudly sponsored by Student. Student is one of the largest student accommodation platforms in the world, with over 16,000 properties listed across 100 cities. You can't beat that. If you're traveling abroad for your education, UK, US, Canada, Australia, who got you? Student. If you follow the link in the description, you get onto their website, you search for an accommodation in whatever city or country you are going to study, you fill out the form, and boom, they get you booked. They'll get your accommodation waiting for you even before you lift your travel box to travel out of your country. Hassle-free and no hidden charges. One of the best parts for me is that if you book with Student and maybe somehow your education doesn't get to start, you don't get to travel anymore, they have the capacity to give you back 100% of the money you've paid. So it's risk-free. Try it today. Use the link in the description and get yourself Emdee. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get to business.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. We're searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there.
Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the MWF 2023 essay questions, I'd like to share 5 general strategies with you, and I believe you still have your pen and paper. Yeah, you're with me. The very first one is you need to create a fresh account on the MWF application portal. In case you have been applying before, all of that data has been wiped and cleared. Create a fresh account and you need to start afresh. Do not say you want to pick up from what you have done last year. See this as a fresh application and see it as a new approach that you're going to give so that you get selected this time. And this is only for people who have applied before. If you have not applied before, if this is your first time, then you can ignore this strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is that you should use your most active email. Note that any email you use in creating your MWF account, this is where you are going to be communicated from start to finish till when you are selected to go to the US, till when you come back. This is the email they will be reaching you on. So make sure it is an email you check often and it's an email you have 100% access to. The third thing, and this is very, very important, strategy number 3 is that you need to make sure that you fill out your application yourself. Plagiarism is a crime. When you're starting to open the application, you see a warning and notification that mandates you to fill it out yourself. Yes, you can get coached. Yes, you can get somebody to review your application for you, but ultimately you have to own it. If you get somebody to fill the application for you and you get caught, you and that person will be in big trouble. Plus, if that's your mindset, we are not looking for somebody like you on the fellowship. No, we're not looking for somebody who's going to look for shortcuts to the application. The meaning to this is that you are not MWF fellowship worthy. So own your application. Yes, you need to get some help if you need to get somebody to coach you through the process, but own your application. Strategy number 4, and this is what I encourage all of my mentees to do, is to answer the essay questions offline so you can think better. If I were you, after I've created my account, I would copy out all of the essay questions onto a Word document that is offline, that is mine. It gives me more time to think, more time to write those things out. I'll fill the application form out offline. I'll count the number of words, and when I'm absolutely fine, I go back into the portal and fill that in. The 5th strategy is get someone experienced to check your final draft before you click submit. This could be your mentor, your coach, or a past fellow. Just make sure they have sufficient experience in things like this to be able to guide you. It usually helps to get a third eye angle to what you've written, help you to dot your T's and cross your I's, and sometimes reshape the entire story. And this is exactly what I offer to my mentees when they reach out. We usually look at the story and uphold all of the story and rework it, such that sometimes my mentees do not believe their own stories. But guess what? It works. So having known these 5 strategies that I like to call the general strategies, let's get to the first essay for the MWF 2023 personal statements. Essay number 1. Provide an overview of your major professional accomplishments from the past year, as well as your long-term goals and aspirations. What motivates you to work in the field that you do? This essay number 1 is the most fundamental of all of the essays. It's 250 words and it sets the tone and foundation for your entire application. So it needs to be solid. I mean, really, really solid. The vibe that comes from your essay number 1 is what determines if the other essays get read. It also determines how they interpret everything else you say. So you want to pay a lot of attention to this essay number 1. I'm going to give you 5 strategies to answer this essay number 1. I believe you have your pen and paper. The very first thing to do as you're approaching to answer this essay number 1 is to decide a theme for your story. Before you even begin to answer the essay, decide a theme. And what do I mean? Figure out a 10-word caption, not more than 10 words. 10-word caption for what your story is about. Let me give you a couple of examples. Let's say you're offering access to education for girls in rural communities. The theme for your story could be making education possible for underserved girls. How many words is that? 6 words. Making education possible for underserved girls. Let's say your project is about providing solar lamps for young children so that they can be able to read at night and so that they can be able to pass their exams. You can get a theme like lighting up the future. Lighting up the future. Or you can say lighting up the future of education. Those are 6 words. Let's say you are not doing any of that. You are a teacher who has found a way to make mathematics interesting. You are teaching math in a different way. Your theme could be algebra without abracadabra. How many words? 3 words. Algebra without abracadabra. Now, this is not what you're going to write onto your MWF application, but this is the theme. It is like the source, the storyline that you're going to build upon. So this is the very first thing you need to think about. So it gives you direction as to what to write. Summarize your own story in less than 10 words. Then we can move to strategy number 2, which is tell an emotional story based on this theme. You want to tell us something that happened to you, something that you witnessed, or a challenge that life put in your way. The story has to be emotional, and you have to be emotional from the get-go. You have to draw from that experience, draw from that challenge, draw from that thing you witnessed or something that personally happened to you and how you dealt with it. The third thing you need to do is highlight what you have created or co-created because of that challenge that you have been through. So you are doing this algebra without abracadabra because maybe as a child as well you suffered from the fear of mathematics. So what have you created? You have created these coaching sessions, or you have created a special book, you have created it, whatever you have done. Let us know how you have responded to that challenge, how that emotional challenge has pushed you to create something or join somebody who has created that thing. So you could be working in an organization that is fixing the problem, or you could own the organization. Whatever way it is, we want to see how you have dealt with that challenge. The fourth thing you need to do is, just as the question has asked you, give us at least 2 of your wins from the past year. What are the 2 major things that you consider achievement on that storyline? Not personal achievement, or maybe you completed a degree, you got a PhD. That's your own personal cup of akamu. We are talking about the things you have achieved on this journey. Because of this response to that challenge, you have been able to do this or that. You should be able to throw out a couple of numbers, but not in details, because you still have more essays in front that allows you to tell the story in detail. So you want to mention 2 key things you've achieved in the past year. And finally, strategy number 5 is that you should tell us 3 goals that you have around the same subject. If I were you, I'll spread my goals into 3. I'll have like a right now goal that we're currently working on, a medium-term goal for the next 6 months, the next 1 year, and a long-term goal. Remember the 5 strategies I've given you for this essay number 1. First is to decide on the theme of your story. It's very important, but you don't write the theme directly in your application. Second is to tell an emotional story based on that theme. Third is to highlight what you have created or co-created based on that emotional story. That is your response to the challenge. 4 is to also mention at least 2 accomplishments that you have had in the past year based on that work you're doing. Let us see what you have done with that work. It's not like you have just started and say we are putting it together. No, we want to see how you have impacted some people or some places, some organizations. The 5th thing is project into the future for us and tell us what's the next phase, what can we expect from you. If you do all these 5 things, you'll be going about this essay number 1 very, very right. Essay number 2. Based on your understanding of your preferred institute track of study, what skills and knowledge do you hope to gain from the fellowship that you would not be able to develop through other opportunities? How will you use those skills and that knowledge to enhance your activities in your community, within the next 3 to 5 years. This essay number 2 has a lot to do with track selection. Track selection is essential to how your story comes along. Some people will select the wrong tracks or the wrong arrangement of tracks, and that affects how their story and the application is being viewed. So this may be one of the reasons why you need to reach out to clarify where you best sit. The MWF has 3 major tracks. The public management track for those who work in government or for government, or people who have interest to join the government line of work. The second track is a civic leadership. This is where all of you private organizations, NGOs, individuals who are trying to make some sense of society fall in. And the last track is a business and entrepreneurship track for people who own small businesses. You have been able to employ other people, blah, blah, blah. But usually there are a couple of projects that are very blurry, so they're not very clear if you're in public management or you're in civic leadership. Sometimes you don't know if you're a civic leader or you're a business and entrepreneurship fellow. So you may want to reach out to clarify that based on your impact story. Now, when you've done that, when you are clear about the track where you belong, you can begin to attack this essay number 2. And to attack it properly, I'll give you 4 strategies. 4 strategies. The very first one is that you need to build your essay number 2 on the background of your essay number 1. This essay number 2 cannot be a standalone. It's an extension of where you're coming from essay number 1. Because whoever is reading your application is reading it on a PDF summarized, and they're reading it like this coming down. You cannot be mentioning XYZ in your essay number 1, and then when we come to essay number 2, it's ABC. So you want to build upon the story you have already told in your essay number 1. So remember, there's a theme that you're working on. That's why that theme thing was very, very important. So number 1 is make sure you build your essay number 2 upon the vibe and the flow of your essay number 1. The second thing to do is you need to directly answer the question. I would recommend that you mention at least 3 skills that the MWF can offer. And this is where some bit of research and knowledge comes into place. You need to figure out what are the skills MWF can offer you. For example, the MWF will not teach you how to fly a plane or how to sail a boat or how to drive a car. But you can learn things like team leadership, people management, public speaking, community development, blah, blah, blah. These are some of the skills you will definitely pick up as a Mandela Washington Fellow. Now, do not go and write these things verbatim, because I've seen people who come online, pick my words and directly just write that. I'm giving you examples and guide. I do not know your story, so I do not know exactly what skill set you would need best, but at least what I know is that you must mention 3 skill sets that you are looking for, because without mentioning that, you would not have answered the question. The third strategy you need to use in answering this essay number 2 is what I call the PPP strategy. In deciding the skills that you are going to mention, I want you to think about 1 skill that helps you develop people. That is the people in your team and the people you serve. People first, not yourself. Don't say, hey, I want to learn digital marketing so that I can be making more money. No, people. You put people first. So think about a people skill, a skill that will help you help people. The second P is products. What product are you working on? If you're a math teacher, do you have a workbook that you're working on? Do you have whatever it is that you are creating? If you are a software developer, that app that you are building, what skill do you need to make it better? So a skill that speaks to the product of what you're building. If you are a community developer and you go to the field, what is that one thing that you guys use? You know, is there a manual? Is there something you use that you want to improve? That's a product that you use. And the third one can be personal. PPP. A people skill that will help you improve the people, a product skill that will help you improve the product, and a personal skill that will help you improve yourself. But a lot of people flip it around and they start to talk about themselves. I want to do this, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. No, use the PPP in that order: people, product, and maybe personal. The fourth and the final strategy to this is you pick each of these skills you've already mentioned and explain how they help you to deliver on your core goals. Remember that you mentioned goals in essay number 1, yeah? So link these skills to the goals that you already mentioned in essay number 1. So you use the PPP, the people skills, product skills, and personal skills to now link them to how exactly they will help you deliver on those goals. If you do these 4 things for essay number 2, you would be doing it just fine. Essay number 3 is the first of the 4 short essays, which are the 150 words essays. They are framed it around one of the popular sayings of Nelson Mandela. And the question says, Nelson Mandela said, "A fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world the better place we so passionately dreamt of. Public and community service are essential responsibilities for leaders. What changes or other improvements do you hope to implement in the communities that you engage through your work? How are you working towards these goals now? And what else do you hope to accomplish in the future?" This essay number 3 is a community question and can be very tricky. I recommend you use the PST approach. P stands for primary, S stands for secondary, and T stands for tertiary. But I'm not talking about schools here. I'm talking about primary community, secondary community, and tertiary community. With the work you do, there are some people that you are directly responsible for. Let's say you work with children and girls. Those particular girls or children are your primary community. If you are an entrepreneur who sells food, your customers who buy food from you on a daily basis are your primary community. We need you to describe these people and how you are helping them. This is where you want to do some yanga. Show numbers, show your statistics. It's also very important that you show us a period of timeline. Tell us that in 2019, these are the numbers that you have for your primary community, but you have grown that to XYZ number in 2022. We want to be able to travel with you. You want to show that timeline. You want to show growth. Your primary community should come first. Whoever you are directly responsible for, you want to mention how your work has impacted them. Your secondary community are the people that you are not directly responsible for, but you have chosen to also support. Let me give an example. This food seller makes some profit from the food they're selling based on their direct engagement with customers. However, they have made out 10% of their earnings yearly to maybe clean up the environment and, pick up trash and recycle waste. That is a secondary community. So something you have personally done within the framework of your work, but you are not really necessarily supposed to do it. It's something good, but you have been responsible. So it could come in form of a CSR, a corporate social responsibility. Even if you don't have it in place, you can mention that you are planning to do that. The third community is your tertiary community. These are kind of people you have mentored, people you have showed the way. Let's say your business plan worked, you were able to get that loan, and you have also taught some other people in the business the same approach. Or you are mentoring younger people who you're not supposed to be doing this. You're only responsible for your primary community, isn't it? But you have even gone to secondary and even tertiary. You are passing it forward. You are mentoring other NGOs. You have built other people's businesses, and that could be your tertiary community. And because everybody's story is unique, my MWF application coaching is very detailed, thorough, and bespoke. Once you send your application summary to me using the link in the description, I'll first take it, read through it, review it entirely, digest it, give you feedback on what you can work on immediately, and we help to reshape your story. Again, we'll get on a call, and this is where it becomes very special. You get to speak with me for an entire 1 hour, and we're going to focus on your application and how to make you one of those 1% that are going to move to the next stage. If that looks like what you like to do, make sure you reach out, and I look forward to supporting you. I hope this video has helped you somehow. If that's the case, please like it. Please like it, and very, very importantly, please share it. You can, just by sharing, be changing someone's future forever. A lot of people's lives have got better because of opportunities like this. Until the next time when I see you again in the next video next week, I remain your one and only E to the M to the D to the double E, Emdee Tiamiyu, and you have a right to be motivated. Cheers.